And getting that business piece together also means getting together all the partners and everyone that you know who can support, especially in the areas where you do not have the creativity or the talent. Welcome to the place where visionaries, leaders, and kingdom builders come when you are in the alley, as I help you discover the keys to unlock your next level of clarity, strategy, and confidence. I'm Dr. LaTanya. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Dr. LaTanya, helping you discover the keys when you are ready to unlock your next level. Listen, are you ready? I hope so, because I have some next level thoughts, some next level tips, some next level keys right here today, straight from the International Leadership Summit that happened in Dallas, Texas. Let's just talk about this for a second. Favor will follow you, okay? Favor will follow you. I was gifted a $300 ticket to the International Leadership Summit, and I had no idea that this was going to happen. I literally received the ticket one day prior, but let me tell you something. The Lord said, be ye also ready, okay? Because I was ready, I was positioned already, and I said, you know what, let's go. The moment that the ticket was given to me. And so I am so excited because I had no idea that I was going to receive this ticket, and the person who gave it to me didn't even know me personally. She did not know me personally. She recently followed me here on YouTube. And I'm like, oh my God. It was such an amazing way and opportunity for God to say, like, I see you, I hear you, I feel you, here you go, you know? And of course, I pray in her 100-fold blessing, because she will receive it all because of her obedience as well. But let me tell you something. There were so many takeaways at this summit that I could not choose just three, but I chose just three to share with you, because I believe that these three things are the things that I'll be doing in my business and in my ministry. And I believe that they're so important for the times, right, that we're in right now, that I wanted to pass these top three things to really catapult you into your next level based on these lessons learned at the summit, okay? Let's go ahead and unlock this next level right now. The first thing is really understanding that you can't do the creative side without the business side, right? So one of my takeaways was to start with the business first. Start with the business first. There was this amazing example of a woman who bakes cakes. And yes, she is a baker. However, she may not be the same person who is meant to run or own a bakery, right? Sometimes we can start with the creativity, and we know we're creative. That's the easy part. But then we don't get the business piece together. And getting that business piece together also means getting together all the partners and everyone that you know who can support, especially in the areas where you do not have the creativity or the talent. Well, this was so important to me. Everything I do, I'm a creative first, right? I'm a visionary first, and so are you. So we normally are the big thinkers. We're the ones who are going to map it all out. We see the vision. We are so creative with this thing. And then we go do the business side. Well, they challenged us to actually think about the business side first. To think about, your funding, to think about the partners, to think about all of those things, so that your creativity, the easy part, runs easily, and you start with the hard part. Now, I have two thoughts on that. The first thought is, I absolutely understand how easy it is for us as creatives to just do that first. And sometimes we can think about things too much. We engage in overthinking, and all of a sudden, we don't want to do this business part at all. We just want to be the creatives. So I don't want this to hold you back, right? I don't want, thinking about the business first to hold you back. Still be your creative self. However, the part that I'm going to be focusing on, I want to pass on to you, is to think about your partners. This was so good to me, because oftentimes I will map out a whole new vision, a whole new idea, and I don't think about the partners at all. Like, I don't think about all the people that I need right away, right? I'm thinking about myself. I'm like, oh, I need me, okay? And I need me to execute. Well, when you begin to think about the partners right away, and you start with that part of the business first, then oftentimes you don't even have to be in the driver's seat of the vision. You can write that vision so well, make that thing so plain that you line up the people that you need in the process. So that is something that I am going to be taking away in order for me to move and scale up as well. All right. I hope that note was good for you, visionary. Number two, the next thing that really resonated with me, especially in this time, this day, this hour, is to be very, very clear in your feedback loops. What does that mean? One thing that really resonated with me was this feedback loops. And when I was in corporate before Kingdom, we were very keen in corporate to make sure that feedback loops were available, that the feedback loops were looping. That means when something goes out of my mouth and it goes to the person who it needs to go to, and then it goes to someone else, it still comes all the way back. There is a loop, all right? Well, for me, I personally thought about this loop with my clients first. And I thought one of the things that a lot of people talked about, they want to make sure that the feedback loops are really going, were around their performance evaluations. And I thought about that, but for some reason, that's for you. If that's for you, you take it. If you're supposed to be making sure that there are some feedback loops available in your performance evaluations, in the people that you hire, in the people that you contract, and the people that you work closely with, then make sure that those feedback loops are available. For me personally, I thought about feedback loops as it relates to my clients. I work with clients all the time. I work with high-level leaders. I work with visionaries. I work with builders. I work with developers who are all unlocking their next level, who all are working closely with me through one-on-one coaching, through small group coaching, or through other avenues and classes and things of that nature, right? Well, I normally do an evaluation or a feedback questionnaire at the end of our time together. And because we talked about these feedback loops, I became super interested in gaining feedback regularly. So I really want to begin to implement new ways of gaining feedback from my clients, gaining feedback from my community, in a regular way where I normally just send something so that I can gain a little bit more insight and I can gain a little bit more knowledge and I can gain more experience based on what they're sharing with me, right? It's also going to be really good to stay current on their needs. Now, I normally send out surveys, I would say at least twice a year, 3 times a year. I send out surveys. However, I want to do so more regularly. I want to make sure as I'm working with my clients that I'm checking in after a few sessions, I'm checking in at the end, I'm checking in regularly so that I can learn. So you take that. Where are the places that you can implement some feedback loops? As leaders, we need to know how we're doing. We need to know if the programs are working, and we need to know what the people that we are called to serve are actually feeling in the process. The last thing that was a huge takeaway for me that I really have been thinking about ever since last year when the Lord started talking to me about measuring my impact, which is actually in another video. So I'll link that below in the description, because I believe that it's so important that you know your value, and knowing your value means that you know your level of impact. Well, one of the things that we talked about at the conference that resonated with me so much is your impact has numbers. And there are numbers attached to it, right? So I listened to lots of nonprofits talk about this. And as they talked about their level of impact, they would say very specific numbers. We serve 7,541 people on, such and such day. We impacted this area of the country. We impacted moms who are experiencing this. It was so specific that it made you say, whoa, I want to be a part of this. I want to figure out how I can give. I want to figure out how I can help. I like to partner. And so as it talked about measuring this level of impact, I believe that is for all of us as visionaries, leaders, as kingdom builders. Why? Because when we start to measure the level of impact, we get to tell a story. Haven't you heard before that data tells a story? And so you want your data to tell a story. And so I'm going to do much better about measuring my level of impact by counting every single person that I work with very closely, the number of people who I impact in my courses, in my classes, the number of people who I impact on social media. I've already been creating my own brag bag where I capture, testimonials and things of that nature. But I'm going to be very specific, and I'll probably be adding this to my meeting with God every week so that I can actually look at the numbers and see how many people I've impacted. I bet that would be very, very good as well in the times where we don't feel like showing up or the times where we just feel like, oh my gosh, these things are taking over. And so we need to look at the level of impact. That level of impact also secured funding for so many businesses and so many nonprofits. So also think about it that way, that there are funds in the data. Listen, I had so many takeaways from this summit, and those are some of the high level things that I took away, because those are the things that I'm going to be implementing in my business and ministry, and I wanted to pass them on to you so that you can do the same thing. If you have any questions as you talk through these things with yourself or your team or whomever, feel free to leave a comment. I'd love to talk about them with you, especially as we elevate and move into this next level of building by making sure that we handle the business part and still do our creativity, but handle that business part first. Also handle those feedback loops and really understanding the loops for your feedback and how communication is coming in and how it's going out, and also measuring that level of impact. Listen, remember, you got the keys, and because you have the keys, I'm here to make sure that you discover those keys. There are so many more keys to drop all the time, so make sure that you hit subscribe, because you need to be a part of this YouTube community where we are moving forward in our next level, where we are leveling up, and where we are unlocking everything that God has for us so that we can move fully in everything that He said. All right? I can't wait to see you in the next video. Let's go.